Hey there, welcome to another episode of AIS Podcast. This week we have Yvonne Harty with Harty Interiors. She is out of the greater Sacramento area. We are going to talk everything design, why it's important, how design is super important for when you're doing a budget for your project, and some different methods to design. And so with that, thank you for coming on, and just give us a little bit about yourself and we'll dive right in.
Thanks, Ryan. Happy to be here. So, a little bit about my background. I grew up in Germany and I lived and worked there until the end of 2011. And that's when I moved to California. And then, of course, there was a question, what am I going to do in California? And it was actually my husband who suggested to go back to school. I had already mentioned previously that I'm interested in design. I have a passion for design. And so he mentioned it. What about your interior design? And so that's what I did. And I enrolled in a school and graduated 2019. And this year I'm celebrating 5 years of business.
So congrats. Now, was your husband from Germany as well?
No, he grew up in California.
Oh, okay, cool. So I can vouch. She has some of the best architectural drafting capabilities that I've seen in an interior designer. That's actually what drew me to meet you, probably a year and a half ago now or so. First reached out. Yeah, because I somehow your drawings came across my desk and I was like, who is this designer? Because I want our guys building off of these sets of plans. So yeah, you have a great craft. You're super talented. And once again, I'm happy to talk to you today. And I think our guests will get a lot of value as well. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, this is something we had a phone call about a couple weeks ago, and that was the value of curated design. So not necessarily having a custom design that, in my mind, something that collapses the timeline of that design process for contractors. So tell us a little bit about what projects and kind of what process you put into making curated design. What's your vision for that, and what are the benefits?
Yeah, I feel like that, and I hear that all the time, that a lot of clients don't necessarily have the budget or they think they don't need a designer. And then a lot of times what happens is that the contractor ends up being a designer because most of the time the clients can't really do everything themselves. And as you and I know, contractors, they don't want to do that. They shouldn't do it, most of them. And it just takes away from your job as a contractor, because that's what I do full time. And you have other things that you do full time. So I came up with the idea of creating packages that are ready to go, where a contractor can use those packages and kind of create their own, like a little brochure that you would show to your client, where the client can pick from, I want this look, or this look. And it's kind of based off of a look. And then what you would get is a full list of all the materials and everything that, I put together. So it's still, you get like a designer look without really using the designer. So you can use that as many times as you want, and it should help you and the client. So everybody wins, really. The client wins because it's, it's a designer look without having the cost involved of a designer. And of course, for you as a contractor, it helps because you get everything in one document and in like a, detailed spec sheet.
Yep. Thanks. And the biggest value that, from a contractor's point of view, that I see is the timeline. One of the biggest things, like for us, we're starting to standardize depending on the scenario and what type of renovation it is, like how long we have to get to this milestone, whether that is how long until floor plan is approved, how long until renders are approved, selections approved, final design approved, any addendums. And because, as you know, it's a very slippery slope with homeowners that this is probably their first time doing something like this, a renovation or a full home renovation or even a new build. And they don't know what they don't know, and they need to be able to be steered down the roadmap efficiently, or we could have a bathroom in pre-construction for 2 months when it really should take 3 weeks. So yeah, I think that's a great value. Now, when it comes to homeowners and budgets, what comes to your mind? Do most of the clients you meet with, do they inherently have, $100,000 budget off a dog walking salary and they just magically can afford whatever you design? Or how are you navigating the budget factor with design?
Well, the way I work with clients is that I ask them that if they have a budget in mind, not to really get to that true number, but just to see if we need to have a conversation basically, or if they already have somewhat of an understanding. If they want a kitchen and they show me those Pinterest pictures of a kitchen that probably cost 300,000 and they tell me that they have 80,000, then we need to have a conversation and explain why we're probably not going to be able to replicate that Pinterest picture with the budget that they have. And so then the next step is, if you work with me directly, then to create a design concept based on what they want. Because I look at myself as a consultant, and I'm not here to tell anybody what to do or what not to do. So I'm here just to help them to, get their vision kind of figured out and put some numbers to the vision. And I feel that this is important because, people don't want to be told what to do. So if you come in or I come in and just tell them, well, your budget is not going to be enough, they feel defensive because nobody likes that if somebody else tells them what they should or shouldn't do with their money. And what I find is that if I create a concept first where we put numbers then to the exact things that they want in their design, then they feel like it's not what they chose, and you can have a better conversation with them about money, because it's not what I told them that they should have, it's what they told me that they want. And so they can see what they want cost 150,000, and then a lot of times people come up with 150,000 and give us a go because that's what they want.
Yeah. And do you feel the curated design was to mitigate those things? To kind of put a client in a box so much as far as budgetary reasons, like this is your $80,000 bathroom package, this is your $100,000 package. Was there any price impression that made that decision move forward for you?
I'm just trying to help contractors really in this case, because it's more the contractors that would purchase those packages, because the clients, they don't know what they don't know. If they've never worked with a designer, they have this, opinion about what designers are like and what it is like to work with a designer. And so I'm just trying to help the contractors out with those packages, just to, eliminate that back and forth. And the packages that I put together are not necessarily budget friendly packages. There is kind of one option that's a little bit more expensive and the other one is a little bit less, or you can kind of mix and match, and you can, select one item where if you want to save a little bit of money here and there, but overall they're not budget friendly.
Okay. So it's not the IKEA set of design. No. It's
okay. Still a creative designer look, and it's hard to do that with budget friendly items.
Yeah, I hear you. So aside from the curated side, what does your custom design side look like? What does that process look like? When are you, if it's a client that came to you first, when are you getting that contractor involved? Give us your thoughts on the full overview of that life cycle for your client.
So when a client reaches out to me, I have a little bit of a different process than most designers. I start with a concept, which a lot of designers do, but for me, this is a separate service, and there's a separate design fee for that, because I also base my fees off of the budget, and we need to get to the budget first before I can figure that out. So there's a exploratory design phase in the beginning that just deals with the concept and creating a budget, pretty much. So first I speak to the client and meet with them. Then I put together the concept in my rendering program. And then actually the first draft and the presentation of that concept is through Zoom. where I walk them through their new home, and the clients can give me direct feedback. And we can also make small changes during that call. And I found that this is really valuable and makes the process very efficient, because I can typically it's an hour to hour and a half, sometimes 2 hour meeting, and we can typically finalize the general layout and the general concept. And so then I go off of that to put the budget together for all the materials. And so then I can pretty much, label, I know we're looking for a marble versus a quartz countertop, or we're looking for a subway tile versus a 24 by 48 tile, or things like that, where I have a little bit better understanding. It's still a concept. It pretty much gets me to a point where I can have realistic allowances, basically. Mm-hmm. And then this is one phase that clients or contractors can use me for separately. This is my favorite part, and I actually don't mind just doing that. That's how I can give access to my services to clients that maybe don't have the budget for a full service designer. And so they can just get the concept and the layout. And then I give them the renderings so they know exactly what they're looking for. If somebody likes to shop, we have a lot of clients, they like doing the shopping. They just don't know how to turn that Pinterest board into actual, design ideas for their home. And so that's my first phase, that I call that master plan. And at the end of that, so once I have the concept, I put together a document that I then send to the contractor. And so I get the information for the labor cost. Because, I can't do that. So it's either the contractor and the clients have a contractor already, and sometimes they will send that document to their contractor, or I reach out to them. Or if they don't have a contractor, then I have a few contractors that I work with that then I can bring into that process to get numbers. And then, of course, that process can be lengthy sometimes, because then we might have to make changes. There's always a shop with that number. And then they either come up with the money or they don't, right?
Yeah, they either have it or they don't. But a design like that and the process that you have is really a contractor's best friend, because you're handing us finished schedules with clear budgets or clear material selections. And ideally, hey, here's the homeowner's budget. Here's our goal budget. Here's maybe their stretch budget if they really want to splurge on X, Y, and Z. And you can give that to a contractor and we're ready to hit the ground. Because most reputable contractors aren't here to capitalize and rip off a homeowner to maximize their budget,
Yes.
But we do have gross profit goals to meet our overhead and to have a profit at the end of the day. We're all for-profit companies, so we do charge for profit. So when you're selecting these contractors, and this is a selfish question for me, when you're selecting a contractor, are you looking at the client and their personality, maybe their home style, the design aesthetic, the budget, and then saying, this would be a great project for X, Y, and Z, and you just give it to them? Or are you going to multiple contractors with the same design and letting them all bid that? What does that look like in that relationship?
Well, I have a few contractors that I work with on a regular basis, and I tell my clients that they're welcome to get multiple bids, but I typically only select one of my guys because I don't want to, have them bid against each other. I try to stay friends with the contractors that I work with. So then I select that based on the project size or the style or the location or personalities. So all of those. And sometimes also, I'm already working with one of those contractors on a large project, and I know that this contractor can only do one at a time. Then I have another one that I can, have another one bid for. So so far it has worked out great. I don't have too many contractors, so still friends.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah.
And so a big part in kind of what I want to segue into here is that designer contractor relationship. Historically, it is not a friendly relationship. Usually it's the old school contractor complaining and bitching about designers not on site. We don't know what's going to happen here. We don't know the finish schedule. This is changing. This is changing. This is going to impact the budget, but they think it's going to be free. All these typical complaints you get from a contractor. How has your relationship with contractors been? What value do you feel you bring to the table? Really just what's that ecosystem like? Because I feel like there's been a shift in the tide there, especially with the new age design build model, to where designer and contractor relationships are of the utmost importance. So give me your thoughts on that.
Well, I can see how this can end up in, a not so great relationship if there's not a mutual respect for each other. And that's what I have with the people that I work with. We just have respect for each other, and that's what I require: respect and kindness. We just need to be nice to each other and professional and respectful. And I typically stay out of the contractor's way. Once construction starts, I will show up and I will, ask for updates and or if the contractor wants to meet for certain walkthroughs, for electrical, or meet with the tile setter and meet with the cabinet guy and all of those things. But typically I stay out of the way of the contractor. And I think that's key. Like, I do design and you do the contracting part, and we all serve the same clients.
Okay, good. I think that's best. And I think the mutual respect side is crucial, because your job, and the way I tell our clients, is construction is the easiest part of our process. Like actually doing the build, that's the most fun. It might not be the most gratifying for the homeowner during demolition or plumbing or drywall or anything like that, but it is the best part of the process, because there's so much that has to happen on the front end in order to have a quality build, efficient build, and just to keep every party happy. So yeah, it's critical for that mutual respect. And I do appreciate the designers we work with, because they really set us up for success. So a little off the wall question here. You have to have a nightmare story, right? There has to be like a time where things went terribly wrong, whether that be with contractor relations or with a homeowner. Give me your nightmare story, and what was the resolution?
I don't know if I really have like a nightmare story. I mean, there are few things that don't always work out, but I don't like the word failure in general. I don't get really upset about those things. If you just explain that to the clients, that there are ups and downs and things go wrong, and you just fix it. And I mean, there's a nightmare story on my personal part, because I didn't make any money on the job because I messed up and I had to reorder cabinets and pay for it. But other than that, for the client, it wasn't really, I don't really have any nightmare stories. So, knock on wood.
That's really good. Yeah, no, good. That's awesome. I wish I could say the same. We fail fast over here at KHB. We've definitely had our fair share of things go sideways and things don't go to plan, and really kind of subscribing to, like, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. So we try to plan a lot, but still, I mean, it's renovations. Something's going to happen that you just can't expect.
But it probably didn't go that, terribly wrong that you couldn't fix it, or did it?
No. At the end of the day, we always are client centric. And even if something, broke down and fell apart in our process, especially when we were building out our process, we always made sure the client was taken care of to the best of our ability. We're not giving people $100,000 off their project or anything like that, because we can't, but we do our best to stand behind our client and do what's best for them. Sometimes at the mercy of what's the best for KHB. But that's business, right? I think here, customers always right till they're wrong.
Yeah. And I'm in business to make money too, just like you are. I don't do it just as a hobby, you know. I have to make money at the end of the day as well. So we all have to think about that as business owners.
It's true. It is true. One of the big things that keeps driving us is like the mission behind KHB. I think I've told you a little bit of our backstory of like, we didn't have the best background working for other contractors. We saw the breakdowns of communication and the issues just in the industry, and especially like the employee appreciation side. And that is kind of the motivator. Because truthfully, we don't make a lot of money at KHP. We reinvest every freaking penny to keep growing and keep giving a better experience to our clients and our employees. So right now, it's not about the money for us. It's about trying to get closer to the mission accomplished, which, you know, every month and year that goes by, it seems like it almost gets farther and farther away for some reason. But yeah, as far as like the industry-wide stuff, are you going to any conferences this year? Are you going to KBIS?
I am going to KBIS because I'm a council member actually at the local NKBA chapter. So it's required because we have training there, and it's always a good time. You know, it's this year. It seems like we have a lot of events planned too. It's going to be really busy. I'm always looking forward to that.
Yeah,
and it's you know, it's a week off for me from my family, so it's my only time I go anywhere without my family really for overnight.
It's like your one solo trip. Yeah, it's gonna be a blast. I'm excited to see you there. I'm gonna be there mostly at Show Village. Out there with Pro Remodeler hanging out. But this is my first time going. So my team went last year, but I wasn't able to go because it falls right around my anniversary time with my wife and I. And last year, she wasn't able to go, and I was like, I'm not going to go. But this year, she gets to go. And so we're both going to make a trip out of it, you know, no kid type of thing, and have some nice dinners and enjoy the show.
That's fun. It's my birthday too. Like,
yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
The Saturday is my birthday, and then I'm flying out Sunday. So it's kind of birthday celebration for me.
So it's that 23rd?
24th.
24th. Okay. Well, happy early birthday.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, we could wrap it up here. How can people get a hold of you if they want to use you for interior design or consulting?
The best way to get a hold of me is to go on my website, hartyinteriors.com with a T, or reach out on Instagram. DM and just set up a call. This way we can make sure that we're on the same page. And I'd love to collaborate. This is a service that can be done like that exploratory phase that can be done virtually as well if anybody's interested. It's not in Sacramento.
Cool. What was your Instagram again?
Oh yeah, Instagram is Harty Interiors.
Harty Interiors. Okay. Well, great. Well, thank you for your time this morning. I hope you have a great rest of your week. And I'll be talking to you soon.
Thanks, Ryan.